How's it, pretty people? Today we're looking at Suzuki's latest Jimny. This is the Jimny GLX 3-door 1500 naturally aspirated 4-cylinder machine. What an absolute beaut. So today we're looking at how she feels on the off-road, not the tar, but on the off-road. So we're taking her for a drive. We're looking at the interior and of course all the great Suzuki Jimny features that you can add and that is added to this beaut. Let's take a look. So luckily we had the opportunity to be in the wilderness today for our review on the Suzuki Jimny. It's a 2025 model, as I already said, but we're taking a drive through the wilderness to experience it how it's supposed to be experienced. So there's a misconception on who this car is for. We see girls with Stanley Cups driving this thing to clubs in Sandton. No man, come on. This has been built for the dirt road, for the Sahara, vir die woestyn, soos ons sal sê. Don't take this thing out to Sandton's Club or Madison's Rivonia. I don't know where girls go to nowadays. Take it to the outdoors. Take it to where the dirt meets the tires. You know, where you can go through water and splash around in the mud. That's where you want to take this car. Just die. Yeah, full on. That's what it's built for. Yo, all right. Okay, we can feel the suspension. You know, when we're in urban roads and in the city, we don't really get to experience this and to see why Suzuki has branded this car as an off-road car. Now we can. So, stock suspension in this very Suzuki, and we are experiencing immense smoothness. I mean, compared to what the competitors give and to what this car is, the suspension stock straight out from the dealership is really not bad. Now look, when you go onto city roads or high speeds, 120 on tar, you do turns, you're gonna feel the lean in and the car rolling a little bit, but it isn't meant to do 120 kilometers per hour turns. It's meant for this. You don't even notice I'm driving sideways right now, and the suspension is just covering it beautifully. We are smooth. So you'd expect it to be more jumpy and jerky, but it's not. It's really not. And if you'd like, you can get the suspension upgrades. And there's a lot of manufacturers developing products for the Jimny because it is so famous. It's such an iconic car, so you can find it anywhere. And then you can go for something more serious where you don't get the roll on your high speeds. And when you do high intensity 4x4ing, it will get even better. You won't experience as much bumps as you do now, but this is fantastic. For what you get stock from the factory, this is fantastic. Let's see what she does if we put foot down a little bit on the dirt. Hey, that's really not too bad. Got some bumps here. Handled it perfectly. Handled it perfectly. Let's see, here's some bumps. Awesome. Smooth. Smooth as can be. We've got a little turn coming up. Let's see how she handles the turn. Not too fast. We are on dirt. No problem whatsoever. So when you're at low speeds, the roll's not that bad. And this is on a dirt road as well. Really not too bad. And when I'm feeling the car as I'm driving it more and more now, when we are on loose sand right now. So the tires, yes, you do have a slight bit of traction that you're losing slightly, ever so slightly, because we don't have the thickest of wheels. They are quite thin. Okay, when it comes to traction, we are on two-wheel drive. It's a rear-wheel driven car. Kudos to you, Suzuki, for making it more fun. But it's got thin wheels. So yes, there are moments where it feels like there's a tiny slip in the road, but it's totally controllable. It's not like it's out of your control. I mean, the traction control still catches you in that instance. It doesn't even kick in. It doesn't need to kick in. So, with that said, I wouldn't recommend bopping it around in the sand dunes unless you do upgrades, of course. But stock standard, if you want to whip it around like the Arabs in their patrols, I don't think that's why you bought this car, you know. So another reason why this isn't meant just for the city life and your Stanley Cup girls, this car's got everything you need for 4x4ing. You've got your two-wheel drive high range, then four-wheel drive high range, and then you can bump it all the way down to your low drive in 4x4 as well. Low range, sorry. So you're not going to use that ever in the city. You'll totally mess up your car, but you've got that in this car for a 4x4. Once again, why it's meant for the 4x4. And then when you look at the aesthetics of the car, it doesn't just look like a fun little Barbie brat Jeep, you know. It looks like something that's meant for the outdoors. It's meant for dust and dirt. There's two stereotypes, right? The cult 4x4 Jimny owners, like I've just heard from my producer, they literally flash each other on the road when they see, and they acknowledge each other for being a 4x4 enthusiast driving a Jimny. And then you've got your Jimny collectible Stanley Cup girls. Because why? The car's cute. It's oulik, like we'd say in Afrikaans. And they drive this car because it's flashy, and they want to be aesthetic in that way because the car's a collectible. But I say screw the Stanley Cup girls. I say let's go 4x4 colting. That sounds more fun to me. So we'll touch on the interior later, but I just wanted to chat a little bit about the feel while you drive this car. Talking about the steering wheel, the way you can see the dash on the front and your cluster. It is well put. So I'm driving a girl's car. Believe it or not, it is a Stanley Cup girl that's driving this car. So the steering wheel's a bit lower, but it's still been positioned in a very nice place where I can still see what's going on in front of me. When you put off your traction control or go into another differentials, it pops up on the screen and you can see what you're doing and where it's at, and it will not allow you to go into any of the other two transfer cases unless you're at a standstill, in neutral, foot on the brake, and then it allows you to go in. Still, you know how it feels when you try and put it in 4H. It is difficult. You need to be strong to do it. So once again, I don't think the Stanley Cup girls will ever do it in any ways. But that's why you got a man driving your Jimny when you go 4x4. Don't delete me and don't cancel me for that, please. But don't get me wrong, Stanley Cup girls, I'm not hating on you, I promise. Because I know a lot of you do actually want to use this car for what it's meant. This isn't a long Prado with a long wheelbase or even a Defender or Land Rover. It's small, it's tiny, it's nimble, it's quick. It's got a short wheelbase, which means the chances of you scratching this car like you scratch daddy's Land Rover, it's very slim. I highly doubt it happening, but you never know. But nonetheless, you still can take this car 4x4ing. After all, that's what it's meant for. So go treat yourself. Fill that Stanley Cup with some nice coffee from Starbucks or Seattle. Take it down to the Sahara. Do a little road trip to wherever you are. Just go to nature. See the world with your little Jimny. Feel it. Feel the road beneath your feet. As you put foot, feel how the car just glides over bumps. I promise you, you'll join a cult too. Under the hood, the Jimny runs a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, paired with a 4-speed automatic gearbox. It's a proper 4x4 setup, pushing out 75 kilowatts and 130 newton meters of torque. Suzuki claims a fuel average of 6.3 litres per 100 kilometers, but in the real world we averaged closer to 9. Right. Quite an easy fit. I'm a 6'2" oak. This doesn't fit too badly. door slams hard a little bit, but I mean, if you're a tall oak, it's not too bad. My seat's reclined all the way back though, so just to note, it is a bit cramped with leg space. Bump up the steering wheel and you should be fine. And then of course, having a first look, our cluster, beautiful. It's not typical Suzuki style, like within the Swift or the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶, Espresso, whatnot. It has more of an aggressive, you know, almost like a Jeep kind of vibe, but it screams off-road. And then steering wheel, nothing has changed here. This doesn't scream off-road. Exact same steering wheel that's in the Swift, except of course you've got your cruise control buttons. Very nice that you still have all of your volume control buttons, information button, your mute button, which does come in handy, but Swift feel, you know. Climate control buttons also very Swifty, but it has the aggressive plastics, hard handles to grab on, even on the side of the doors. It's great if you want to go 4x4ing. Your passenger has a place to, you know, grab on. Suzuki thought of that, and it's great, but it does feel like they stole the idea from Jeep a bit. I know it does come in a lot with a lot of off-road vehicles, the Defender, the Jeeps as well, and now Jimny has added it to their collection. Not a bad look, but they could have made it a bit more into their style. Looking at the buttons, we don't have the side door panel window control buttons. They're all here in the front, along with your traction control, hill descent control, as well as your 12-volt accessory adapter and the USB, which isn't bad. We got the same screen and the same multimedia display as in the Swift. They haven't done any upgrades to that. I mean, it's back in 2022 where the Swift originally came out with the new screens. It's 2025, 3 years later, and they still have the exact same screen style. And it is a bit buggy, a little bit buggy, right? We still have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which makes it very nice, but when you want to use the basic radio and settings, it's a bit laggy. I mean, when you pay about 470,000 Rand for like this exact model with all its bells and whistles on, you'd expect, you know, to get something that's a bit more high class than your normal Swift GLX, you know. Another thing I would love to see in this car is an armrest. I do not like to sit like this and then like this when I'm driving. You know, I'd love to have an armrest here so that I can be in control and have a place to rest my arm. It's not here, but it's not here. Don't like it. But I did find one on Temu. I'll pop a screenshot up here somewhere that you can literally put in here and you've got your armrest. But the only thing that I don't think it'll work properly is your handbrake. I don't think you're going to reach it properly with that Temu setup. I mean, they think of a lot, but they don't think of everything, right? Whoa. Here we go. This is not too bad. I'm gonna be brutally honest. Height-wise, it's fine. As I said, 6'2". I am a tall oak, so if I can fit in there, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to fit in your other friends as well. But you're not gonna buy the 3-door to gallivant with 4 people in the car necessarily, but at least you can. You've got the option. Leg room though, let's see. Okay, all the way is not gonna work, so let's put it around about there. Jack the seats up. I mean, kind of. I kind of fit in, but it is still a bit cramped. I wouldn't do a long distance like this. I would not recommend a long distance if you're a tall oak. But I mean, if push comes to shove, you got to do what you got to do, right? But it's not bad space. At least you've got handles here as well for your passengers in the rear if you want to do some 4x4ing. Also a decent amount of space. And I mean, you can also pop up the side windows. That'll give it more of a breathable space when you're doing passenger drives. So not too bad. Well done, Suzuki. Boot space, always important. One thing that's bothering me come on, let me just show you again. Opens up very easily. Like, I can use my finger to just gently push it open, but it doesn't have a lock when you're in the decline. That's going to annoy me. So in this instance, I'm just gonna stand like this to keep the door open, but come on, man, Suzuki take pointers. Just note that if you want to have a 4x4, you're not always going to stop on a level surface. It's going to, you know, I don't know if this might, no, this is not. This is just what it is. So if you want to load stuff into the boot and you're on a decline, you've got to stand with your back against the car to keep it open. Just note that. Looking at the boot space, right? So one nice thing is there's a seat in the front that you can yank out, and this goes here flat even more. But if you want to keep that seat in, that's also fine. You'll still have your boot nice and flat, but it's not a lot of space. There is really not a lot of space. The one thing that you can take into consideration with this is you've got height. So pack vertically, not as much horizontally. There is a nice little 12 volt accessory adapter here at the back as well. Helps a ton. And then of course a little cavity here, extra boot space and package space. Then remove this underneath and just chuck that there. Now here you can find your equipment to take off your wheel and your spare wheel, which is at the back. So very convenient, very nice to have. So they did think of that, and I do quite like it. Snaps right back in and you sort it. Happy days. Chuck this back up very easily. And there you go. Boot ready again. And then be careful if you've got your tow bar on. This has happened a lot this weekend, where you'd bump your shin. So just keep that in mind. This bad boy's got some added features, right? We've got the ladder. We've got the roof rack. And of course, the nasty front bumper. I just pop on an LED strip here, an LED bar to complete the look. But it looks gnarly.
There's plenty of available extras too, from a snorkel and added storage to suspension lifts and full performance upgrades. If you'd want some power, go all in with the turbo kit. And then you're looking up to 130 kilowatts and as much as 250 Newton meters of torque, depending on which package you choose. But if you're just getting started and want a stock Jimny, the base price is around 432,000 Rand.
So all in all, I mean, this thing is a beast. With the extra additional add-ons you can put on the car, from performance upgrades to adding roof racks, ladders, snorkels, bigger suspension, better suspension, bigger tires, bigger rims. You can add the step ladders at the bottom. The list is endless. This is really not just a car for the Sandton City girls and the Stanley Cup girls. It's a car for the 4x4 enthusiast. A car that can literally go anywhere. It's tiny enough to fit through small gaps, but it's aggressive enough to take on any type of rough terrain you throw at it. From deep waters to hill climbs to rocky roads. This is what it's meant for. It's not just meant for going to the clubs. So buy it for the right reasons. I just want to take a moment to remind you, please press that subscribe button down below. Put on the notifications so that you know when a new video comes out with no roadblocks. Hit the like and go down to the comments and tell us what your favorite 4x4 car is and if you'd buy the Jimny for it. Don't buy this car for your daughter if she just wants to drive it to Sandton clubs and Rivonia clubs. And if she drinks Stanley water, she does not need this car. But if she's a 4x4 enthusiast, or if you want to get her into 4x4ing, this is the car you want to go for. So ladies and gentlemen, don't buy a Jimny if you're just going to drive it to clubs, or even if you go down to Cape Town. Drive it for what it's meant, 4x4ing.